Hey everyone, and welcome to the third video on keeping life simple. Hope everyone had a great 4th of July week. Wanted to apologize for the lack of content on my end. I was out for holidays and then had actually some pretty embarrassing technical difficulties that stopped me from uploading on Thursday. So want to give you all a video today on this Tuesday aimed at helping you finding out your true core values, analyzing yourself in them relative to where you wish you were or are striving to be, and then using that to develop an action plan to improve your area one by one, week by week. So this was a tool that was actually given to me my junior year in college by one of my first mentors, because I was struggling to find out what was most important to me and how to spend my time in investing in myself. And now I actually feel this helps mitigate the dilemma that all of these videos on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter put us in from a self-development perspective. So what I mean by that is, and this is something I'm guilty of as well, is, when we're on Facebook and we're scrolling down our Facebook feed and we're seeing our friends' statuses and then we see a video on why we need to be an entrepreneur and how it's the best thing possible for us. Well, we may not value being an entrepreneur in our day-to-day lives because we're happy with, working our normal jobs, and we value aspects outside of a career more than that entrepreneurial piece. However, because this video is now in our news feed and we're more susceptible to the ideas in it, given the state of mind we're in when we view these things, and given the relatively flawless logic behind them, and the person giving this advice is generally really successful, puts us in a dilemma. We're like, wow, look at how successful this person is because they're doing this and I'm not there. Therefore, I need to invest more time in learning these tools and learning these tips to being like that person. Where normally on a day-to-day, we don't think that that is important to us because we value other aspects in our lives more. So this is a tool that will help you kind of focus in on that and prevent that from happening, and just create a more sense of awareness in those situations. So what the tool is, whatever you want to draw something on, pen or paper, tablet, laptop, whatever, you're going to want to make a giant circle. And then similar to like a bullseye or the chart thing that you use when you're throwing darts, you'll want to make a couple rings on there so you have a scale from 1 to 10. 1 being the center part, 10 being the very most outer part. You're then going to take that and divide it into 7 sections. And I have my little cheat sheet here. So you're going to want to divide those into family, physical, mental, spiritual, academic, social, and financial. Now, I do want to put a disclaimer. Spiritual is whatever you feel spiritual is to you. Doesn't matter. Academic does not mean grades in high school or grades in college or turning in homework. It can be whatever you feel is a means of educating yourself and how you wish you were spending time educating yourself when you're ranking it. So I want to put that out there. Also, if something is not important to you in this, or you feel you're comfortable with where you're at relative to where you want to be, and don't feel you have room for improvement there, rank yourself a 10. That way it doesn't affect the overall score on the next step. So then what you're going to do is you're going to be brutally honest with yourself and rank yourself in each one of these aspects of your life. An example of this is when I first did this myself, I ranked myself like a 9 in financial because I put a portion of my check into my savings account while I was in school, and I was like, man, I'm financially set. And then my mentor was like, oh, do you have a Roth IRA? What are you thinking about investing in for your future? What percentage of your check are you saving? And as we went through that, I was like, man, yeah, I'm not really where I need to be financially, so I kind of had to lower my score on that. So be brutally honest with yourself. This is where you will truly realize your core values, what's most important to you. If you're filling out the financial piece and you're like, wow, I really need to improve, congratulations, you found out a core value to you that may or may not be as important as what you thought it was. Or if you're ranking it and you're like, I'm actually pretty set, you realize that you should invest more time in another aspect of your life. So once you have that filled out, add up all the scores, divide it by 7. You now have kind of like a whole life number that you can go off and evaluate moving forward. As for the rest of the sections, you now have a holistic view on just 7 aspects of life and where you can invest more time in. The analogy that went along with this is that, you know, if your wheel's not completely round, you're going to have a bumpy path down life, which is true. I won't get too much into the analogy. The video's already running on a bit now, but it's something to think about there. Now, one key piece to note on this is that, say mental is the highest ranking on your scale, and you have mental at a 6 or mental at a 5 or whichever, and that's your highest one. Your mental cannot get to that next level. It cannot, if it's at a 6, it can't get to a 7 until everything else in that circle is met with that 6. Now, again, if something is already a 10 because you're competent in that area or it's not a value to you, disregard that. But all the other aspects must be at that 6 before you can raise that up. Now, I will argue the case that physical, you know, you can if physical is your highest, you can always increase your physical without the rest. There's some caveats there, but for the most part, the wheel isn't round. You can't grow past the max number until everything else meets that. So what I was taught with this, and what I always recommend to people who I give this advice to, is take each one of these aspects, and you can either do it by a week-by-week basis or quarter-by-quarter, or however you want to invest your time. Focus on that area and raise that up to the next level. Then focus on the next area and raise that up to the next level. And focus on the next, and then the next. And then once everything starts to get more rounded out, then you can focus on bringing everything up to the next level beyond your highest. So that's pretty much the gist of it. However you want to create your plan to grow from it is on you. I'll cover more details on how to develop these plans a little bit later on in the series, but I did want to just arm you with this tool to help mitigate some of the things I mentioned at the start of the video. So as always, leave comments below. Let me know if the videos are getting better, if they're getting worse, things you guys want to see covered, any suggestions, advice, tips, whatever, because I'm still growing myself. And that's all I really had for today. I hope you all had a great last week. Hope your week is starting off well. And as always,
living like the ending was beginning with a getaway. Another day, another dollar. We just trying to get a day and pull a whole decade within a day. Promise you my penny straight enough to 95. Hard away, penetrating, open up a lane if they don't give a lane. Lanes open bigger for that Range Rover Riv. I'm trying to open up the hood and put a name on that engine. If it go misunderstood, I remain on my pivot for a steering wheel draped in the vision. Cause all we know is Range Rover Riv.